All right. Let's start out by saying Barakatah Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Racha Kudash. All right. Welcome to another live lesson. The name of this one is Concerning This Year's Calendar. And pretty much the brothers in different camps have been inquiring about the calendar and why it was set up the way it's set up. Well, I just want to say first and foremost, we're keeping a lunar calendar, ours, in a solely lunar calendar. So to give to our calendar in contrast to Esau's calendar is 11 days longer than ours every year. So every 3 years, our calendar would fall back a month. So we would have to adjust our calendar until we get to the kingdom, in order to fit inside of this calendar. All right. Now, concerning this year's calendar, a few brothers brought it up about the 7th month, that are we in the 7th month now, or is it coming up? And technically we are in the 7th month now. So when I put the calendar together this particular year, which was actually last year, I didn't calculate correctly, on the 7th month. So that was my fault. So technically today we are in the Day of Atonement, but since, everyone already ate and everything, I'm going to keep it, I spoke to Elder Pastor, so, we're going to keep it, for the next month, which would be September 21st at evening would begin. Let me make sure. September 21st at evening would begin the 7th month. No, which would really be the 8th month. So brothers were correct on that. Brothers are being Berean minded and checking, what they're, the information that they've been given. So that's a good thing. And I just want to say on my behalf, Salakia, every time I do the calendars, I make sure I have like 4 different drafts before I actually even put the whole thing together. And somehow, I'm not sure if I was calculating to move everything up a month and miscalculated or what the case was. But I just want to say Salaki on my part. So, the calendars that you brothers do have out there, you camp leaders and camps, just keep the Day of Atonement and the, Memorial of Blood and the Trumpets and the Feast of Tabernacles, beginning September 21st, which would be the day, Memorial of Blood and the Trumpets. And then, the 9 days in the evening after that, Day of Atonement. And then, when the Feast of Tabernacles comes in. So technically, we're rehearsing the righteous acts. Judges 5:11 says, "They that are delivered from the noise of archers in the places of drawing waters, there shall they rehearse the righteous acts of the Lord." Now, this is the recounting. In other words, telling all of the great acts that Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, did for us. But it's also a rehearsal. We're rehearsing right now, getting prepared and ready for the kingdom. And the kingdom will be totally perfect, And here, Leviticus 23, you can find most of the high holy days, right? Leviticus 23:23, "And Yahweh spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, In the 7th month, in the first day of the month, shall you have a Sabbath, a memorial of blowing of trumpets and holy convocation," right? So this is like a very high new moon. No, it's a new moon. It's the beginning of the Sabbath, but it's a high Sabbath, the 7th month, which is the memorial of blowing of the trumpets. All right. Which shows you that the Sabbaths begin with the beginning of the month, because this is the first day of the month. I'll read it again. "Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, In the 7th month, in the first day of the month," which is what? The new moon, "shall you have a Sabbath," because it is a Sabbath, but this happens to be a high Sabbath because of the memorial of blowing of the trumpets. "A memorial of blowing of trumpets and holy convocation. You shall do no servile work therein, but you shall offer an offering made by fire unto Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai." And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, also in the 10th day of the 7th month, there shall be a day of atonement. It shall be an holy convocation unto you, and you shall afflict your souls. And afflicting your souls means just that: no eating, no drinking, and offering made by fire unto the Lord Yahweh B'Shem Shai, which obviously we don't have the means to do that, because Yahweh Shai already covered, the sacrifice offerings or the sacrifice, but we do still afflict our souls, So we will be putting it up, when these days come up, and the next new moon would come in September 21st, which is Sunday evening to Monday evening, which will be posted at, probably about another week or so. And then the memorial of the blowing of the trumpets would be that same evening, September 21st to September 22nd. And then the Day of Atonement would be September 30th at evening through October 1st at evening. Okay. So just, keep an eye out for that, and we'll keep you posted. And once again, Salaki, on my behalf, that was my fault. I overlooked it. I checked it 4 different times, but I guess the way I was calculating it, the way I looked at it again and I was calculating it, I was off on one of the new moons. So Salaki for that. And pray that your brothers and few sisters have been edified. Till the next time I say, Shalom.